You're listening to Muscle and Mind, your weekly dose of science-backed strength and strategy, hosted by Blake Anders, a sports science grad who breaks down fitness and mindset into real-world results. Train smart, think strong. This is Muscle and Mind.
Welcome to this episode of Muscle and Mind, your weekly dose of science-backed strength and strategy. Today, we're diving into the fascinating world of isolation exercises and their strategic role in our fitness routines. While compound movements often get most of the attention, exercises like bicep curls, leg extensions, and lateral raises should not be overlooked. By the end of this episode, you'll have a clearer understanding of how to maximize your gains by incorporating these targeted movements without squandering your valuable training time. To begin, let's define what we mean by isolation exercises. Isolation exercises are designed to target a specific muscle group, working that area intensely. Unlike compound exercises, which involve multiple joints and muscle groups, isolation exercises focus on a single joint and specific muscle. This focused approach brings us a host of benefits when used appropriately in our training routines. One major advantage of isolation exercises is the balance they can provide between compound and targeted movements. Compound exercises, like squats and deadlifts, are fantastic because they allow us to lift heavy, engage multiple muscle groups, and improve overall functional strength. However, pairing them with isolation work on specific muscles helps address any weaknesses, promotes muscle symmetry, and prevents overuse injuries by strengthening smaller muscle groups that compound exercises might miss. This combination coordinates with balanced muscle development to enhance both performance and aesthetics. Let's talk about some of the popular isolation exercises: bicep curls, leg extensions, and lateral raises. Bicep curls target the biceps, of course. They're a straightforward and highly effective way to build the arm strength necessary for various pulling movements. Next, we have leg extensions, which focus on the quadriceps. These are great for pinpointing the front of the leg muscles. Finally, lateral raises isolate the deltoids, specifically the lateral deltoid head, which helps in creating that rounded, strong shoulder look. You might be wondering when it's beneficial to incorporate these isolation exercises into your routine. Well, it depends on several factors: your fitness goals, experience level, and the training phase you're currently in. If your aim is hypertrophy or muscle growth, isolation exercises will be crucial in hitting those specific muscles that may not get enough stimulus from compound movements alone. Beginners can benefit from integrating these exercises occasionally to learn proper form and build foundational strength in all muscle groups. However, for more advanced lifters, strategic use of isolation work can focus on lagging muscle groups or specific aesthetic goals. One often overlooked benefit of isolation exercises is injury prevention. By developing a well-rounded muscle base, including smaller supporting muscles, you mitigate the risk of injuries by strengthening those groups often prone to imbalance in typical compound routines. Take the example of the hamstrings. Isolation work can significantly help in supporting knee stability and preventing knee injuries for athletes heavily focused on activities like running or squatting intensive routines. A common concern and misconception about isolation exercises is that they might detract from the effectiveness of compound-focused routines. This belief is somewhat outdated. When implemented correctly, isolation exercises complement your primary compound lifts and don't have to detract from their emphasis. We achieve this balance through thoughtful program design and effective time management to allow enough energy and recovery for both types of exercise. Let me offer you some key tips for maximizing your gains from isolation exercises. Consider the volume and frequency with which you perform these exercises. Volume refers to the total number of sets and repetitions you complete for an exercise, while frequency reflects how often you train a specific muscle group. Depending on individual recovery abilities and goals, you might perform isolation exercises anywhere from 1 to 3 times a week per muscle group. As with any exercise, technique is paramount to safety and efficacy, so always focus on performing each movement with proper form, rather than rushing through reps. There is also the importance of strategic variation. Adding isolation work around your notable compound lifts can achieve targeted growth in specific muscles and fill the gaps that compound exercises leave. Remember, while you want precision with isolation work, It's also beneficial to cycle through different isolation exercises occasionally to prevent adaptation and continued muscular response. To illustrate the power of integrating isolation exercises, consider some real-life examples and case studies of successful workout plans incorporating these strategies. For example, accomplished physique athletes often program isolation exercises to sculpt and provide details in areas such as the biceps and shoulders while maintaining overall symmetry. Athletes aiming for recovery from a specific injury frequently use isolated movements to rebuild strength and function in targeted areas before handling more complex compound movements without additional risk of injury. Overcoming misconceptions about isolation exercises is vital. Many people concern themselves with the worry that isolation work might cater only to bodybuilding physiques, or that it somehow detracts from the athletic look. Instead, think about it strategically. Blending strength with specific form development backed by science only enhances physical performance and appearance. In conclusion, I encourage you all to experiment with isolation exercises and discover how they might fit into your personal fitness goals. The variety and targeted approach they offer can be incredibly rewarding when applied with thought and precision. Strive for personalization in your routines. This keeps workouts fresh and your motivation high while ensuring balanced development and sustainable progress. That brings us to the end of today's episode of Muscle and Mind, your weekly dose of science-backed strength and strategy. We've explored the strategic role of isolation exercises in achieving a well-rounded, effective fitness routine. From understanding their definition and benefits to incorporating them strategically alongside compound movements, isolation work is invaluable for balanced muscle development and performance. I hope you found value in our discussion and feel inspired to enhance your workout game with these science-backed methods. As always, train smart, stay motivated, and until next time, keep blending strength with mindset strategy for lasting results.
That wraps up this episode of Muscle and Mind, where strength meets strategy. If you enjoyed the show, be sure to follow and share it with someone who trains with purpose. For more episodes, tips, and resources, head over to muscleandmindweekly.com. Until next time, train smart, think strong.